Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of ILA Dialogues. Today, we have with us Advocate Julie Desai. Lawyer by profession, Julie started her practice in banking law and currently advises on aviation law, company law, and immigration law at Mehul Vakharia Associates. Advisor to various educational institutions from Canada and India, with an impressive track record of more than 15 years of hands-on experience in law and education. Currently, her area of expertise is aviation law. Julie is a renowned social activist and has contributed considerably in the realm of human rights, gender parity, and social equality. Julie has been a crusader for the rights of women, children, and various other victims of social injustice. With an inclination for voluntary services, got involved in many projects for community. During her student life, she participated in fundraising activities for the needy. She also worked actively for sensitizing people about hundreds of poor who died due to hunger and scarcity of nutritious food. While continuing in her professional career as a lawyer, she also utilized her legal expertise for social services by participating in free legal aid camps for women and volunteered for Lok Adalats for the benefit of poor clients. She joined one of the most reputed non-government organization, Vishwa Gujarati Samaj, in her capacity as a joint secretary to rise up the ladder to become a vice president, and has been involved in many social, cultural, financial projects taken up by the organization. From relief work during natural calamities like drought and earthquake in Kutch, or conducting free medical surgical camps for poor, she has spearheaded them all. Through International Women's Wing Vishwa Gujarati Samaj, she has conducted training programs for various women of rural areas for their empowerment, as well as successfully completed training program with women orphanages. One of the unique programs taken up as sorry one of the unique programs taken up was training of women and men inmates of Sabarmati Central Jail in the state of Gujarat. Conducted successfully, UGS sponsored national camp for girl students on empowering youth through law, and has been a speaker at various platforms, international as well as local, on critical social issues. Welcome, Julie, ma'am.
Thank you
Uh,
so much. Thank you for
today,
the
Julie ma'am, today Julie ma'am will be speaking about rights of girls. I will. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. I've shared the screen.
Just give me a moment. Sudisha, thank you so much for involving me in this dialogue of ILA. I am very happy to be here today. Sudisha has already given a brief introduction. Actually, I just want to say that I have been part of ILA, and I think in Jamshed's leadership, we are doing a wonderful work. Uh, Sudisha has given a bit of a introduction, but I will include some of the other initiatives which I have started post that profile which Sudisha has talked about. I would like to start with Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Everybody is talking about it at the moment because she was one of the crusader for women rights and especially girls' rights. So I would like to start with a quote that women belong in all places where decisions are being made. Also, one of the quote which has touched my heart from Justice Ruth is that she said that if you are a lawyer, the reason this quote is here is because that if you are a lawyer and you are not doing anything for the women's rights, then there is no point being a woman lawyer. I have been working in the social sector, especially in empowerment of women and children, for almost 15 years now. Um, this is a brief outline of my presentation. I'll talk about my initiatives. I will talk about girls' rights very quickly, and then I will, which is very I mean, we all understand and we'll all know about girls' rights. We keep reading about it. We keep hearing about it. What we do not hear here is there are some of the inspiring women from around the world who has done wonderful work. They've they've created some innovative solutions to empower girls and women, so we will talk about that. And then understanding the innovative ideas applied, and how different communities would respond to those ideas is something I will talk about eventually. I think about me and my story, we've already heard from Sudesha. So I will go to my next slide, which is currently, all my programs are run under a foundation called Aesthetic Faces Foundation. We have a Aesthetic Faces Foundation Development Center within one of the slum area locally where I reside, where we work on girls' education. We have a very interesting program, which is a Girl Scout program. The reason I want to basically talk about Girl Scout program is because I think it was so challenging for me to start that program, because the parents were not willing to send their girls due to various pressures, which we will talk about eventually when we talk about girls' right and the problems faced by them. Then I have a skill development center where we train these women and girls for economic empowerment. A very unique program which was launched very recently, which is a rack picker center. We've known for years that we have rack pickers, and mostly those are women. They go to dumps and they pick up those pieces of paper. Suddenly, with environmental consciousness which is coming into the society, and especially it's become very important post pandemic, I think the rack picker centers picked up, because these women, most of the value of the paper was taken away by traders. So we've created a center for them, which we will make it eventually self-sustaining center for these women, where most of the profits, 80% of the profits of that paper which they bring, from the dump, will go to these women, and only 20% of administrative charges will be retained by us. We have also we have become a big promoter of sustainability. So we created a center for recycled bags and various other products which we are working on at the moment. Post pandemic, it has become very important to keep these centers running, because during the lockdown, and the economic downturn, especially the women and children are facing the major issue, and especially girl child. One very important initiative I would like to talk about is my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel which was started during the lockdown. The reason this YouTube channel was started, I was working for one of the university locally. I was actually curating a program for a university locally, where we were going to basically inform the students about new age career and business opportunity. That's where my first playlist on my YouTube channel, which is called Talent Talkies, comes from, where we talk about, there are some disciplines which has been identified as part of the Talent Talkies, where we talk to bloggers, and we've spoken to fashion bloggers and social entrepreneurs and filmmakers and cinematographers. UX UV designers, which is a very upcoming line. And during that experience of creating Talent Talkies as a playlist, I met so many amazing women from around the world. That's when I introduced few new playlists onto my YouTube channel. I have a 4 playlists currently, where I have emerging trends post-pandemic. What are the trends which are emerging from around the world in businesses, in startups, in what are the problems women entrepreneurs are facing? That is something we talk about on emerging trends. Then I have enterprising youngsters. So many young girls have started their startups during the lockdown. When they were just sitting at home, and they've been extremely creative, and they've created their own startups. So I talked to these young girls on my YouTube channel, which is called Enterprising Youngsters. And I met some women, which is very few, but who has done amazing work You will hear about them and the solutions they have created during their lifetime, which is called Women of Substance. The reason I, quoted this Hillary Clinton quote, which is very apt for girls, to all the little girls who are watching this: never doubt that you are valuable and powerful and deserving of every chance and opportunity in the world to pursue and achieve your own dreams. Um, there are various girls' rights we all know about: right to life, right to health, right to education, and right to protection. Today, I will be talking about right to education, because which is very close to my heart. Because I always believe that when we talk about girls' rights, if you want to change the society and we want to achieve our goal as the United Nations goals, then we won't be able to do it. It has to start at a grassroots. It has to start at a young age. And right to education for all girls is very important for us. Uh, the reason we talk about girls' rights is because girls, they've never been demographically identified. We talk about women rights or female rights. We never talk about girls' rights. Girls are the most neglected group in the world today. And girls face the double burden of being both young. So they have those issues to face at the same time being a woman. So there are other issues which are part of being a woman. So both cause them to be discriminated against. So, it is very important for all of us that, to singling them out using gender specific language and addressing their individual needs, we can help even more girls defend their rights and let them live a very fulfilling lives and thrive in their communities. So what I have done, eventually we will come to those slides, that I have spoken about 4 women in my presentation who are from different parts of the world. There are one from Canada, the other one is from Spain, the third one is from Brazil, and one woman is from India. And we will talk about the innovative solutions they have come up with during that time. Before that, let us understand the issues faced. As girls, we are the girls are the most excluded group, and as I have already stated, there is a dual burden, and factors like poverty and disability, and within their community, the stringent cultural standards and the norms create challenges for them to get educated. Here, I would like to talk about at Aesthetic Faces Foundation Development Center. There are this group of girls who are coming from a community, a special sect called Devi Pujak. They call themselves Devi Pujak. So those girls are taken away from schooling from their 6th or 7th grade. Their parents do not allow them to study further from that age group. And what we are trying to do is that we are trying to create some kind of a vocational training for them to so that vocational training or a skill development, they come to our center. Then with that, we are imparting some kind of an education which will keep them going, even though they cannot. We have to work with the cultural norms. That's the reason we have to find innovative solutions for these communities we are talking about. Understanding the needs in different regions to create solution demographically is very important when we are talking about the girls' rights from around the world. And I have already talked about the importance of girls' education, so I will not repeat it. We will talk about it when we are talking about the innovative solutions. This is a data which I would like to share with you. Girls out of school, the graph visualizes the rate of girls out of school worldwide. You can see that there is a girls out of school in primary school, which is 26.2%. Lower secondary school is 22.7%, and upper secondary school is 51.1%, which is a very large number when we talk about only educating girls till upper secondary school. There is 132 million girls worldwide which are out of after school. So we have to do something about it, since we are talking about the education for girls. The reasons the girls are not in school, this is very recently taken, because there are a lot of events happen during the International Day of Girl Child. And there is an organization called theirworld.org. They have given 13 reasons. I'm not talking about all the 13, but I would like to mention some of the reasons why these girls are out of school. The early marriage and pregnancy, violence at school, lack of funding, child and domestic labor, dangerous journey, poor sanitation, too few female teachers. That is something which is very important. I would like to talk about it. I think Justice Ruth has always been speaking about that if we do not have female representations around the world in policy making, in decision making, we will never be able to achieve what we want to achieve. There are so many areas around the world which are still in a war zone, and we are facing, which is something we are facing natural disasters and calamities. We are facing that at the moment. Because of that lack of internet, lack of understanding the online platform, lack of understanding, that how. So uh, the girls which are living under the poverty line in India today and around the world, those are the girls who are out of school at the moment, unfortunately. And we need to do something about that. So let us talk about the way forward. We know that these are the problems which we have been facing. So let's talk about the way forward. Issues and solution. I would like to talk about the issue is addressing their individual needs to empower them to defend their rights, which is very important. The other thing which is very important is gender sensitivity. Unfortunately, traditionally, we have been placing the girls in the box, and that has to change. One of the most important points when we are talking about solution is addressing policy initiative around the world. If we do not have enough women who are policy makers, then unfortunately we will never be able to do anything about the rights of girls eventually. And girls need to be mentioned as a specific demographic, as I have mentioned earlier, that unfortunately girls are not demographically defined in international law. So that's something which is extremely, extremely important. Often girls issues are not tackled because they fall between the priority areas of women's rights and children's rights. So the girls as a demographic, we've never identified as. That's a reason we are facing major issues with girls. And disseminating data from more inclusive laws and rights. Since I'm a lawyer, and as we are sharing this on a legal platform, it is very important that we talk about the laws and rights of girls, from the legal perspective. This is something, when I talk about the innovative solution, this is something I would like to talk about. As I said, that picture says 1,000 words. As Aesthetic Faces Foundation, what we have done is that we have created an innovative solution. What we've done is that we have taken some girls and inspired them to go and teach the younger girls, because they are not conversant with the online platforms, and they still need to be taught. These girls, they have been out of school for almost 6 months now, and we need to do something about it. So the Girl Scouts program we are running at the center, these Scout girls, they've been going to younger girls. They gather the group of 4, 5, 10 girls, whoever is willing to educate themselves. Now these girls who are teaching the younger ones, we have created a hierarchy of system where the elder girls will teach these girls and the elder ones are taught by our trainers. So it becomes sort of, we are trying to reach out to as many girls as possible to continue their education in whatever way we can do it. The other thing which we have created, that instead of them whiling away the time, we have created a skill development program where we are teaching these girls to make recycled products. And when they come there, our trainers teach them a little bit of education, some kind of a vocational training they are imparted at the center. Now let us talk about the women from around the world. As I've stated that we have Tamarack. Unfortunately, this is not a Jill's photograph. I think there was a glitch. So eventually I will share a correct picture with you. Then there is Maria, and then there is Meera Rajada. Tamarack Veral has been a women's rights activist from Canada for years now. She talked about a very interesting concept which has become very close to my mind, that indigenous women from around in Canada, from around Canada, they have been doing wonderful work in women's rights. And when we empower women, or when we empower mother, the girl's education becomes, it comes with the flow. So she has been talking about that. And she says that, these indigenous women, they've created a group where all these indigenous women get together. And Tamarack has tried to bring them on the same platform and understand the innovative ideas with which, they are creating solutions for girl empowerment. It was very it was very shocking for me. We don't realize it unless until you hear it from somebody like Tamarack, that when Tamarack was growing up, her mother did not have a right to open a bank account. So for the education or for any necessity, when her father was traveling and not in the house, the mother could not withdraw money from her bank account because she did not have a right to open a bank account. So from there, she sort of became an activist, and she realized, growing up with 4 brothers, she realized that it's very important for her to lead this women, where she talks about girls' rights. The other, I think Jamshed will relate to me, and if Rafael is there, he will relate to me as well. From around the world, that has been a major issue with women artists, that their work has been taken away and shown as, it's stolen and shown as a work of a male artist, unfortunately. And these women has never been able to do anything about it when we talk about intellectual property rights. So they have, in USA, in North America, in one of the town, they have created a platform where all the girls, young artists from around the North America get together on that platform. And they whatever art form they have, mainly those are music artists, they would perform there, and they will be supported by these amazing women. So that is something Tamarack talks about. If you want to know more about Tamarack's journey, then you can go on to my YouTube channel and look under Women of Substance. Jill is another very interesting case, which I would like to talk about on this platform. Jill is a founder of a organization called Lilue. Lilue works in sustainable fashion. Now, what Jill has done is that, eventually we will go to that slide. That's Jill. Okay. Lilue combines ethical fashion with compassion. That means that she creates innovative, sustainable, ethnic, exceptionally handmade products. But she employs the trafficked survivors to reintegrate back into the society by teaching them a viable trade and by providing them with income. Jill is doing an amazing work in European country. In fact, she does a lot of work in African region as well. Unfortunately, due to the time constraint, I would have liked to talk about somebody else called Brenda Foreman, which I will at the end of the story. I do not have a slide, but I'll talk about what Brenda does eventually. Maria is a very interesting case. The reason I want to talk about Maria is that soccer is something, playing football is something which is home to Brazil. And as growing up, she could not play football, and her father would not allow her to play football. And recently, in fact, me and Maria, we were chatting, and we celebrated the fact that Brazilian government has given equal pay while playing for a national team to all women soccer players. So that was a challenge when Maria was growing up. Maria is very young. She's still in her 20s. and the law came. So that is something to celebrate. So we need, voices like Maria to reach out to women and, bring the change. Meeraben has been working all her life in Mumbai and Pune. Currently, she resides in Bangalore. She was working for an industrial house. Jamshed, this will be very interesting to you, because she talks about, during her interview, she talks about working for one of the Parsi organization, where she was the first non-Parsi woman to be included, because I think she talks about working with Lady Kama, when, because they wanted an outside view, a non-Parsi view. That's the reason she was included in the social organization she was working for. The reason I talk about Meeraben today is because she created innovative solution for some of the industrial employees, where she created some kind of a bonus system, but the bonus was not given in cash, but was given in kind. So the industrial employees would not waste that into, or while away that money into the substance abuses, or they drink. And what they did was that they created some kind of a solution. She created some kind of solution where some credits were given into their in-house store, where the supplies were given to them, given to their women. The other very creative solution she created was that all employees, it was a large industrial house, so all employees, it was mandatory for them to wear uniforms. So what she did was that she created this training programs with the wife of all the employees who were working in the factory, and she taught them how to create those uniforms. So the women were employed, and as soon as as I have told you earlier, as soon as the women are employed, it goes to the girl child, especially the children and the girl child in the family. Thank you so much for hearing me. These are I would like to give credit to some of the organization for from where the basic data was taken. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me at juliedesai@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram as well. So you can always follow my journey through this social media platform. And I would like to thank Jamshed and Sudisha for giving me this great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you,
Julie,
ma'am.
I have one question.
Yes, Jamshed.
So do you, I mean, of course, Article 14 has always been, right to equality before the law as far as India is concerned.
Yes.
But my question is that, do you think that, the advent of the internet and going virtual, has that kind of brought in a greater balance, you feel, in,
In a
women's
younger
and
generation,
girls'
maybe,
rights?
yes. The people who's embraced technology very quickly. I mean, I think I've heard a lot of lawyers talking about it, that due to pandemic we've just gone 25 year ahead. People, we have been talking about going paperless, we've been talking about embracing technology in court proceedings, which was not happening. Pandemic is something which has taught us that. So yeah, I agree with you, Jamshed, on that point. I can't hear you, Jamshed.
Yeah, no, I just said thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for taking out the time for us.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Sudisha.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a lovely session.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.